Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Dominic Sykes. I've kind of been on a bit of a hiatus lately, but I'm back. I'm here with Alex, and we're going to do Urban Legends Ohio today.
Yeah, it's a good palate cleanser for our heavy hitters, like with a zombie killer or zombie hunter, and our next episode, which is going to be Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole.
Yep, just to have kind of like a little, I wouldn't call it light, but, change of pace.
Yeah.
But with everything going on that's happening in Ohio lately, we could probably fill up a whole list with just the strange stuff that's been going on in the news, with all the train derailments and
and the
stuff
chemical
like
spills
that.
and stuff.
Chemical spills. So I'm sure there'll be more, urban legends for us to cover in Ohio, like years down the line.
Absolutely.
That stem from all this. But for now, we'll kick things off with Helltown in Boston, Ohio. It has a lot of legends from government conspiracies to satanic worship. And the village of Boston was founded in 1806 and flourished until 1974, when by the order of President Gerald Ford, a national park was created in the area. At the end of 1974, the Park Service bought up a large number of houses, claiming they were going to tear them down and expand areas of the park. But instead, it was just abandoned. They bought all of the stuff and then kind of just
Left
abandoned it. Yeah. The houses were boarded but left standing. Rumors began to go around that the government was trying to cover up dangerous chemical spills. That sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a weird parallel. In 1985, a hiker in the park became extremely ill after touching a strange substance leaking from a toxic waste containment drum from the abandoned Kretschsee dump, which was right outside the state park. On top of the conspiracy theories about the toxic oil spill or the toxic spills and all that stuff, there's also rumors that Satanists would hold ceremonies and rituals at the abandoned church.
Oh Lord!
So it's like a ghost town because of all of the abandoned buildings and stuff. Plus the satanic worshiping probably didn't help solidify the reputation of it. And then you already had it clear out in the first place because of the toxic stuff.
Yeah. So it will probably 100% is they dump toxic waste there.
Yeah. Yeah. So next up is Stanford Road, also known as the Highway to Hell. This road is long and winding and has a very steep incline. After you reach the top of the hill, it's got a very sudden drop-off on the other side that comes to a dead end at the bottom, which, in my opinion, doesn't sound very safe, but, because of this legend states that if you drive the road and come to the top at midnight, some unknown force will take control of your car and force you to crash. The typical...
Yeah, that's almost like Doggers Hill.
Yeah.
Urban Legends, Colorado, and in Florida, where you park your car and it goes up the hill.
Mm-hmm. That one was a good one.
Yeah.
For a while, there was an abandoned bus that was sitting alongside of Stanford Road, and according to the legend, it was full of children on an overnight field trip when it met the same fate as the other motorists who made the mistake of traveling the highway to hell at night. A ghostly figure could sometimes be seen sitting at the front of the bus and smoking a cigarette. So that's pretty interesting.
Which means they
maybe
wrecked
the ghost of the driver.
Wrecked in the 60s and 70s when you could smoke in school buses.
So I doubt the bus is still there, but for a time, people could, pass the abandoned bus and they swear they'd see the ghost of the driver, smoking a cigarette.
So they did not take care of the bus. So the bus crashed at this dead end road.
Right.
And they just left it there.
Apparently. According to the legend. So
I don't know if that's laziness or just they couldn't get it out.
Couldn't be bothered with it, probably. Our next one might be related to our first one. It's the Loveland Frogman. And if with the toxic chemicals and stuff, I wouldn't be too surprised. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
So this right here is classified as a cryptid.
Yeah.
Which is important to specify because a lot of people think that they are extraterrestrial.
Really?
Yes. That these
are 100% supposed to be like a native-born Earth cryptid type, not from outer space type deal.
Okay.
So the first legends of the Loveland Frogman were first recorded in May of 1955. Around 3:30 a.m., a man was traveling down a quiet stretch of road that runs parallel to the Miami River. What the man saw early that morning probably made him wonder if he was going crazy. Huddled together by the side of the road were three figures described as 3 to 4 feet tall, with leathery green skin and webbed hands and feet, their faces frog-like. To make things even stranger, the man claims the largest of the three held up some kind of wand or stick over its head, which then began to shower sparks. In my opinion, it could have just been, kids playing with sparklers or whatever. And in the dark, the dude could have mistaken them for, I guess, a frogman. I don't understand where, but with the webbed...
That must have been an ugly-ass kid.
Mutant, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe he was swimming in that toxic waste that they dumped.
But there were also several other encounters from different people over the span of several decades. On March 3rd, 1972, an anonymous police officer claims to have spotted a creature matching the earlier descriptions. He saw a large animal standing alongside of the road. Apparently, when he approached, it got startled, and as frogs tend to do, leapt up on two legs, apparently, and just jumped across the car's headlights. So this cop saw this big frog-like creature just hop across the headlights of his car. He reported it as about 3 foot tall. I like frog, but man at the same time. So I guess it had like the dimensions of a guy, but with like webbed feet and hands, and it hopped like a frog.
And as we know on this show, cops always tell the truth.
Yeah. All right. So lastly,
wait. Oh.
Before
Okay, I want to talk about the frog man a little bit more. Right. So he was wearing pants. So I don't know if you describe that and stuff. He was wearing pants, and he had that silver wand in a holster on his leg.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they think that it's extraterrestrial.
Because he's wearing pants and had a holster?
Yeah, he had a holster, like a little leg holster, like so he could swim, and then he could pull it out and like that. And also, there is a story about 2 kids finding a frogman and observing this, and they actually communicated with said frogman.
They communicate. How does it talk? Like
it spoke to them. No, it spoke to them telekinetically.
Huh. I don't believe that. I believe a frogman like being a result of toxic spill before an alien.
Oh well, that was why I was talking about extraterrestrial, because that's one of the theories that it is an alien species that have visited our world. I don't believe it either, but I think it's just the cop was probably tired, overworked. He probably worked doubles or whatever. And just saw really a big ass frog, or a big ass frog. They just saw a big ass frog. They get pretty big. They don't get a 3 feet, but they get pretty big. But if you're in the dark and you see something jump across, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Yeah. It might not have been a frog. It just might have been just a kid running across the road.
Yeah, could have been anything. But yep, or maybe it was a frog man.
Yeah.
Our last one of our list today, at least for me, is the Gore Orphanage in Vermilion. So, considered to be one of the most haunted places in Ohio, the burnt remains of Gore Orphanage, which was given its nickname because of its location on Gore Road, have quite an unusual history. It used to be a mansion built by Joseph Swift in 1842. Legends claim he used the mansion as an orphanage to earn extra money and was known for his short temper and cruel treatment of the children. So he made this orphanage, basically, and then just adopted a bunch of orphans and then just treated them like absolute garbage.
So he was using it as a sadistic location to fulfill his sadistic nature towards children.
Swift lost his fortune to a poor railroad investment, which forced him to sell the mansion to a New Yorker named Nicholas Wilbur. Wilbur was a spiritualist group leader who was known for hosting seances, often contacting the spirits of the children that died at Gore Orphanage. So that's pretty interesting. Like it was the sadistic dude, like you were saying, and then a spiritual leader bought it and started hosting seances, I guess, to talk to the spirits of the kids that had passed or died in the house. During the time that the Wilbur family lived in the house, all 4 of their children died within a 7-day period and all from a diphtheria epidemic. So, like, that's pretty weird.
Well, you got to look at the
But
times.
it is diphtheria, so
Yeah.
I guess if it's an epidemic, it's going to spread, and
Yeah.
they're going to die. But still, though, right after they,
Well, with seances, you don't know who you're contacting.
That's
If
true.
you believe in seances, you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know if it's the children you're contacting or something worse.
yeah,
And with his kids dying that fast,
he probably was.
he was contacting not children.
Yeah. So, local legend claims that the children, all his children, were buried on the property to keep them close. And in 1901, he died, and the home that then became a hotspot for local haunting legends. So people would often sneak into the mansion to try to get a glimpse of the supernatural. And that was until the fire that burned it down, which happened during a restoration attempt. So they were trying to restore it, ended up burning it down instead.
It's a lot easier than you think because old houses, they
Yeah.
have terrible wiring.
The culprit behind the fire was never discovered. Throughout the years, so I'm not even sure if they knew if it was arson, or they just never discovered the reason why the fire
It
started.
was probably kids.
So throughout the years, there have been many claims of strange occurrences, from voices to creepy apparitions of tortured children to the sounds of laughter and crying. It became a game to local teenagers to try to spend the night in what remained of the burned structure, which, like, that's like that everywhere. Anywhere, any town that has a haunted or haunted-looking place, teens are going to dare each other to go there.
That's probably how it burnt down in the first place.
Yeah. But many have sworn never to go back after experiencing some truly terrifying things.
Oh, wow. Are you familiar with the Ohio State Reformatory? Mm-mm. All right.
I didn't see that one when I was doing
Have
the
you
research.
seen Shawshank Redemption?
No, I don't think I have.
Well, its location was filmed in the Mansfield Reformatory. But the people who take guided tours through the buildings have their own stories to tell.
Right.
Legend has it, even when the building is empty, you can hear footsteps stomping through the hallways, knuckles tapping against cell doors, and voices of ghostly prisoners who died there. It has the largest steel structure in a prison.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Like
it's
for-
like 6 stories, huge.
Just to hold the prisoners?
It's where the cells were, but it's the largest steel structure still standing.
Really?
Yeah,
So it's still
in a
there?
prison. Yeah, it's still there. You can go there. You can go there. Actually, you can go to Ghost Tours Ohio and get it. It's not that expensive actually.
That'd be pretty cool.
Beaver Creek State Park. The legend goes that when the canals were being built in East Liverpool, Ohio, one of the canal workers lost his wife and daughter to a tragic accident.
Probably
stricken
angry
with
beaver.
stricken with grief, he entombed their coffins in the walls of the canal, and then threw himself into the rushing river where he drowned. The canal has long since been drained, but the legend has it that if you go to the canals late at night, you'll see the man carrying a lantern, still searching for his wife and daughter.
It's always at night.
So, like, did they die like while he was building it? Like they were just with him and they fell, or do you think they just died tragically somewhere else? And he just built them into the wall.
Maybe he murdered him.
I don't think so. Like,
Why would he bury them in the walls, though, if he wasn't trying to hide the bodies?
well, he built the coffins. It's not like he hid the bodies. He put the coffins into it. I can understand.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I can understand if he just.
Then
like,
they probably
threw the
it's
bodies
probably
in
an
there.
accident or something. Maybe while he was working on it.
That sucks. Lake Hope Furnace. A man's work is never done, they say. And according to this legend, that includes in death. The remains of an old iron furnace sit as a monument at Lake Hope State Park. And a legend has it that on dark, stormy evenings, the ghost of one of the furnace workers still comes by to light it. He reportedly carries a lantern in his hand, but vanishes into the darkness whenever people get too close. I wonder if it's the same guy.
I don't know, but I'll tell you something. If I ever die while working, right, or doing anything really menial or something that I don't want to do, the last thing I'm going to do is come back as a ghost and do that stuff for the rest of eternity.
Well, if it's a death loop, I don't think he'll have.
Yeah,
he
you don't
has.
have a- I'm not
yeah,
saying
he doesn't have a
you don't, probably
choice.
don't have a choice, but I'm saying that's the shittiest way to go out in the first place. Just, oh man, I like have a heart attack working on the factory floor, and then just my ghost comes back and just perpetually is like,
Yeah, perpetually working, not
Yeah.
getting paid. That's the bad part. He's not getting paid.
yeah, can't even
I mean,
enjoy his
he's
pension.
Logging hours, man. Hatchet Man Road.
I'm can guess why that has that name.
No list of urban legends or scary myths will be complete without a homicidal maniac who
course.
attacks from beyond the grave, almost like the Camaro
Yeah.
in Urban Legends, Colorado. In the early 1800s, Andrew Hellman reportedly killed his wife with a hatchet and spread the pieces all over the road near his Bellefontaine home. The legend goes that if you're out late at night and you turn off your car, you'll see the pieces scattered on the road and a man with a hatchet standing nearby in the ditch. Almost like Jogger Hill, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's always at midnight. I guess because it's the witching hour.
I guess.
Like midnight to 3 is pretty much the witching hours or whatever.
If to me it'd be creepier if it happened during like bright ass daytime.
Yeah. Like, I've never understood that. Like, every time a ghost encounter happens, it's always at night. I'm like, what? Are they scared of the sun?
I don't know.
Maybe it's because you can't see them because they're translucent.
There's a reason, I'm sure, supernatural wise, why this only happens at night, but
Yeah. Probably like a moon gives them power or something.
I don't know.
The Werewolf of Defiance.
Ooh.
Though werewolf legends exist in some form or another, the Werewolf of Defiance is a bit stranger. There have been multiple sightings throughout the years of a large beast-like creature that resembles a werewolf, one of which from a railroad worker who claims the werewolf struck him in the shoulder with a piece of lumber.
Why would it attack him with lumber?
I don't know. We can't explain why a werewolf would need to use a 2x4 as a weapon
Yeah.
before running off, but police take the matter very seriously as the descriptions of the creature are all the same. All seem to be very familiar. So
it's they don't
It's
want to write
probably-
it off completely because so many different people have different.
dude, what if it's
matching-
Bigfoot?
What? Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because something hits you in the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
A 2x4, and you're like, "What the hell?" You turn around,
see a big hairy.
yeah, hairy dude running like that, or like a creature that's running almost like not like a wolf, but like hunched over, like like a underworld werewolf. You'd be like, "Holy shit, it's a werewolf!"
Yeah.
But like that would not be my first thing. I would be like, "This dude in a fursuit just hit me."
Or maybe he had a workplace accident, lumber fell on his head, and he hallucinated the whole thing.
Yeah, he could be on like. Well, I don't know. There's several instances where this has happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they haven't written it off because there's so many other people that have matching descriptions of this thing.
Yeah, the Ridges.
The ridges.
Yep. The abandoned Athens lunatic asylum near Ohio University is full of different legendary hauntings, as you might expect from a lunatic asylum right outside of college town,
Yeah.
including a mysterious stain in the shape of a woman that cannot be washed away, things moving in the basement where patients were reportedly buried, and the infamous tuberculosis ward where strange and inhuman methods were used to control patients. Inhuman, that's horrible. Like that.
We've talked about how different penitentiaries before and how awful they are.
Yeah, absolutely. They were not kind. Even like, can you imagine just dying of tuberculosis and you're trying to like, I guess, not die.
Yeah.
And they're just like treating you so badly.
Yeah. Not only do they get treated badly, but they have some of those experimental treatments that just do worse than they do good.
Yeah. And I get it. They didn't know about medical advances as we do now, but like there's like it's human decency. Like don't
Treat them like dogs.
Yeah. The building sits atop a large hill in front of a cemetery. And though it's closed to the public, college students have been braving the trip since the legends began.
Yeah.
So if you go to this university, Ohio University, I'm sure that will be a good time, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Satan's Hollow. And I'm wondering if it's right outside Hell's Road.
It's possible.
This creepy drainage tunnel is often referred as the tunnel to hell.
Drainage tunnels are creepy. They're
All
even
because of
even
Pennywise.
Not even just that. It's like there's I don't know.
It's the fear of the unknown. You look down, you can't see the other end of it. It's scary.
Yep.
It's the reportedly the sighting where Satanists can't come to sacrifice animals to the devil in a hidden altar room. Although the tunnel is technically private property, it has not stopped paranormal enthusiasts from coming to explore it.
Of course not.
Videos from those investigations show satanic symbols painted on the walls, strange voices, and growls from the deep within. And many have claimed to see a demon called the Shadow Man. Again, your eyes play tricks on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all that we could find. It's weird. I'm kind of excited to go a little bit more into some of these haunted places because, as you know, we're super fans of haunted places, and
Go somewhere.
Yeah.
And visit one of those. Do a stay at the night thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Recordings and
yeah, if we recorded that, it would be definitely a Patreon thing. So that being said, if you guys want to support us, if you think we're doing a good job and you just want to help us just a little bit, you can actually subscribe to our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and you get bonus episodes, bonus content, everything. So just follow that link below in the description. Also, we do have an announcement. We will be rebranding the show. What that means is we'll be changing the name and the logo of the show. It'll still be the same show, but the name will be slightly different. Instead of the Dartarian Show, it will be called the Alex and Dom Show, because Dom is an integral part of this show. So I wanted to give him the credit where credit's deserved. We wanted to switch up the name and make it the Alex and Dom Show.
touched.
Yep, with guests and stuff. So we appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully this helps you guys find the show. We know that my last name is hard to spell unless you know. Obviously, I can spell it. It's been my last name all my life, but we just wanted you guys to find it a little bit better. If you type in the Alex and Dom Show now on Spotify, the Dartarian Show pulls up anyways.
Yeah,
but this will help other people find us. And if you're loyal listeners, thank you. I hope this doesn't change your outlook on our show or deter you from listening to it.
we're not going to change anything but the name.
Yeah. And hopefully new listeners are able to find us and
Spread the good word.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, support us for that link below. You can find us everywhere on social media, and we'll be making that transition within the next couple weeks. But thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back next week for Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole.